Hello everyone and welcome to Page by Page Bible with Snehal. I'm your friend Snehal and today we will be reading Genesis chapter 18. If you have a Bible, please take out Genesis chapter 18. Till now we have seen how God was promised a son and Sarah's impatience leads to Hagar sent into the wilderness. Now we will read a son is promised to Abraham. Chapter 18. The Lord appeared to Abram at the sacred trees of Mamre, as Abram was sitting at the entrance of his tent during the hottest part of the day. He looked up and saw three men standing there. As soon as he saw them, he ran out to meet them, bowing down with his face touching the ground. He said, "Sirs, please do not pass by my home without stopping. I am here to serve you. Let me bring some water for you to wash your feet. You can rest here beneath the tree. I will also bring a bit of food. It will give you strength to continue your journey. You have honored me by coming to my home, so let me serve you." You can see how Abraham is serving the guests who are just passing by his house. Shows that the God's person how hospitality of the Abram. They replied, "Thank you, we accept." Abraham hurried into the tent and said to Sarah, "Quick, take a sack of your best flour and bake some bread." Then he ran to the herd and picked out a calf that was tender and fat and gave it to a servant who hurried to get it ready. He took some cream, some milk, and the meat and set the food before the men. There, under the tree, he served them himself, and they ate. Then they asked him, "Where is your wife Sarah?" "She is there in the tent," he answered. One of them said, "9 months from now, I will come back, and your wife Sarah will have a son." Sarah was behind him at the door of the tent listening. Abram and Sarah were very old, and Sarah had stopped having her monthly periods. So Sarah laughed to herself and said, "Now that I am old and worn out, can I still enjoy sex? And besides, my husband is old too." You can see how Sarah is doubting the God's promise. Then the Lord asked Abram, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Can I really have a child when I am so old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? As I said, 9 months from now, I will return and Sarah will have a son." Because Sarah was afraid, she denied it. "I didn't laugh," she said. "Yes, you did," he replied. "You laughed." We laughed at God's promise, and then Sarah was so ashamed that she laughed at God's promise. As you see, nothing is impossible to God. Abraham pleads for Sodom. Then the men left and went to a place where they could look down at Sodom, and Abraham went with them to send them on their way. And the Lord said to himself, "I will not hide from Abraham what I am going to do. His descendants will become a great and mighty nation, and through him I will bless all the nations. I have chosen him in order that he may command his sons and his descendants to obey me and do what is right and just. If they do, I will do everything for him that I have promised." We are Abraham's descendants, and God has promised Abraham that he will take care and for his descendants. So God is here for us every time, because God made promise to Abraham that your descendants will be countless as the stars in the sky. Then the Lord said to Abraham, "There are terrible accusations against Sodom and Gomorrah, and their sin is very great. I must go down to find out whether or not their accusations which I have heard are true." That means God has secret messengers from where God receives the messages. So whatever we do, God is listening and He sees us. Then the two men left and went on towards Sodom, but the Lord remained with Abraham. You know how beautiful it is that the Lord is accompanying Abraham, if we could just imagine. Abraham approached the Lord and asked, "Are you really going to destroy the innocent with the guilty?" Abraham is like so much concerned about the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, and he is concerned that if there are good people, so he asked the Lord, that are you going to even punish the innocent ones? If there are 50% people in the city, will you destroy the whole city? Won't you spare it in order to save the 50? Surely you won't kill the innocent with the guilty. That's impossible. You can't do that. If you did, the innocent would be punished along with the guilty. That is impossible. The judge of all the earth has to act. If you could see the conversation Abram is having with the God, like a small child is asking that, will you do this or will you not do this? Will you punish the whole city if 50% of the people are not guilty? The Lord answered, if I find 50% people in Sodom, I will spare the whole city for their sake. Abram spoke again. Abram knows that the 50% people of the Sodom are not innocent. So he asked again that, please forgive my boldness to continuing to speak to you, Lord. I am only a man and have no right to say anything, but perhaps there will be only 45% innocent people instead of 50. Will you destroy the whole city? Because there are five too few. Then God answers, I will not destroy the city if I find 45% people. Abraham spoke again, perhaps there are only 40. He replied, I will not destroy if there are 40. Abraham is so much concerned. So Abraham asks again, please don't be angry, Lord, but I must speak again. What if there are only 30? He said, I will not do it if I find 30. Abraham said, please forgive my boldness in continuing to speak to you, Lord. Suppose that only 20 are found. He said, I will not destroy the city if I find 20. So Abraham pleads again and again. Abraham said, please don't be angry, Lord. I will speak just once more. What if only 10 found? He said, I will not destroy if there are 10. After he had finished speaking with Abraham, Lord went away and Abraham returned home. Here we will stop now, and Genesis chapter 18. Let's reflect that first we see that how the Abraham is like he serves the guest which come to his house. So are we like Abraham? Also, do we love like Sarah for God's promise? And do we care for each other like Abraham? God bless you all.